So the building we want to focus on is the great congregational mosque. I found only one picture and I wanted to find something close to what you have. So, but I'm only going to, and your book has only the one gate, but it actually looks more like this. In that in the middle there's a courtyard, and there are actually 4 gates going into it. Are you following? It's actually a rectangular courtyard, like the courtyard you saw. It's all like continuous. This is actually much later, so it's blocked off, but it's continuous, and there are 4 gates going into it. Okay, so I wanted to give you an idea. Okay, so Iran develops its own like unique architecture. Now they do adopt the typical Arab thing in there again. The courtyard, right? The building is around the building, but they add something to it that makes it very unique to Iran. So basically, you have this 4 rectangular, sometimes rectangular, more square. And what they did is, what you're seeing here is only one doorway. Remember, all along it's not just the frame, but these are used for rooms, right? And then 4 sides, they have 4 major gates. And the gate is not quite like a gate. Gate is usually a hole you go into, like you saw all the other gates. But this is called INWA. INWA is kind of a, it's more like an open hall. It's an arched hall. It's an arched hall. Like an arcade. Okay, it's an arched hall. Okay, so it's like an expanded version of a gate. And then it's not just one hole, but you build the whole structure, and it's like a continuous, more or less in terms of structure, there's a continuous arcade.
Like a tunnel.
Like a tunnel, but not as long as a tunnel, not as short as a gate. It's in between. Okay? Like many other gates you have seen, again, they're emphasizing the gate to mark that we are about to enter a sacred space. We are, about to enter an important space, hence they begin. Now, so I1 itself represents, once again, this archway gate. I1 itself means just an archway. Okay, arched hall. Okay? But they began to use the arched hall as a type of a gate. And a lot of early Iranian mosques began to have 4 I1. Okay, so that they figured that, again, it's all about symmetry again, right? Symmetry is important. Why is symmetry important?
Representation of Allah.
Yeah, representation of Allah, God, right? It's all about perfection, right? Plus, again, practically this way, a lot of people can go in and out. You don't have to wait in line to get out of the window. Okay, so hence they began to do that. All right. So this is one of the first work that utilized this 4 island style. This is the Great Congregational Mosque, Islamic art in Iran. Well, the date is a bit confusing. They first built it in 7th century, but they kept renovating all the way to 17th century. So you can have any date between 7th to 17th century, preferably 7th. But they kept renovating it. And this is in Orali 2.15. This is the Great Congregational Mosque, Islamic art in Iran. Originally 7th century, but they kept making renovation all the way to 17th. So any date between 7th to 17th century. This is in Orali 2.15. Okay? And what you're looking at is not the entire mosque, but merely one I1. Okay, one I1. Okay? the whole building had 4 islands to mark off the entrance, and they are extended hall, arched hall. I mean, it's huge too. The hall that I'm talking about is only here. So a person would be this small. Okay, it's a huge, hall here. So this is like continuous all the way to the other side. Okay? Some of them they have doors, a lot of them don't even have doors. It's supposed to be open. But again, later on in the modern era, because they want to protect it, they may have added on doors. That's why it's so done. Okay. Now, what are the typical Islamic architectural elements that you have already seen here? Oh?
Arabic.
I'm sorry?
Arabic.
In terms of style, yeah, arabesque. So all the floral motifs. What else?
Mosaic.
Yeah, these are all mosaic. You also have geometric, plus you have
Calligraphy.
All the designs are there. Okay? What else?
Arches.
Use of arches. Plus?
Columns. No, those ain't columns.
These are minarets.
Oh, minarets.
There is no reason to have double minaret, but again, the Persians were really into everything making it more symmetrical. So in fact, this mosque has 8 minarets. Each iwan had 2 minarets. And remember, these are natural decorations. Somebody can actually climb up there. Must be really high. Hopefully, later on, they made more renovation and put elevators there. Anyway, so you have to go climb all the way there. But big structure like this, I guess it makes sense because you want to, sing out loud and recite to all directions. So you have multiple people doing it. It's like a stereo from all different sides. Okay. All right. Those are our elements that we have already seen. What are the elements that are new? Besides the fact that you have double.
Has stalactite.
What's that?
The honeycomb vault.
What is that?
Isn't that under the mihrab?
Yeah, it's not the mihrab, but yeah, it's there. Yeah, that's new. Okay, but let's start with some, with the things that they're already from the other ones that they made modification. Once again, instead of 1, you have 2 minarets, right? Altogether 8 minarets. If you also look at the arches, they're slightly different from the arches that you saw in the previous works. Do you see how at the top it's pointed? Right? That becomes more typical of Islamic arches. Again, what they're doing is they understand the efficiency of using arches, so they want to utilize it. But they want to have a language that represents them, not the Romans all the time. Hence, the more typical Islamic arches are the pointed one. Pointed and it's slightly more curved on the side. So that's going to be, see all of them, see they're pointed at the top? Okay, that's more typical.